The 10 most impressive facts about the Leviathan. The Leviathan, that mythical creature mentioned in scriptures, has captivated the imagination of believers, scholars, and the curious alike. This being, dwelling within the pages of the Bible, symbolizes the power, mystery, and majesty of the world created by God. Here we explore the 10 most fascinating aspects of this creature, inviting the reader to delve into the depths of biblical tradition. Number 10. An icon of literature and art. Who can open the doors of his face? Around his teeth is terror. His body is like firm shields, tightly sealed with a seal. Job chapter 41 verses 14 to 15. These words not only evoke the image of a formidable beast but also invite artists to explore the depths of their imagination, to give shape to the incomprehensible and to confront the unknown with brush, chisel, or pen. The Leviathan, in its magnificence and terror, becomes a canvas upon which artists project humanity's deepest fears, hopes, and questions. In literature, it is a character symbolizing internal and external conflicts, an antagonist embodying struggles against overwhelming forces, or even a guardian of truths hidden in the depths of our being. In art, its representation varies from the literal to the abstract, inspiring works that capture both its ferocity and its enigmatic beauty. From medieval illustrations to modern visual interpretations, the Leviathan reminds us that there are realities beyond our immediate understanding, challenging us to look beyond the visible. Number 9. A challenge to human understanding. In scriptures, we are presented with a being whose description transcends mere observation, becoming a symbol of that which is beyond human grasp. The book of Job, in its chapter 41, offers a detailed portrait of this formidable creature, whose strength and majesty are such that no man can claim to subdue it. This passage not only highlights the Leviathan's grandeur but, in a broader sense, serves as a metaphor for the vastness and complexity of divine creation, before which our wisdom and power pale. God challenges Job, asking him if he can catch the Leviathan with a hook or hold it down with a rope. These rhetorical questions underline human limitation and God's supreme power, who handles creation with ease, in contrast to our inability to fully comprehend or control the works of his hands. The description of the Leviathan is, therefore, a reminder of our position in the universe. We are creatures before an omnipotent creator, called not only to admire his work but to humbly acknowledge our own finitude. Number 8. Representation of uncontrollable nature. This concept finds its echo in Job 41, where the description of the Leviathan not only highlights its strength and majesty but also man's inability to dominate such a creature. Can you draw out Leviathan with a fishhook, or press down his tongue with a cord? Opening square bracket ... closing square bracket. There is no one so fierce that he dares to stir him up. Who then is he who can stand before me? Job chapter 41 verses 1 to 10. These words, spoken by God to Job, serve as a powerful illustration of how creation, in its wildest and untamed state, eludes man's domination. The Leviathan, as an entity inhabiting the depths of the sea, represents parts of creation that are beyond our reach and control. This passage invites us to recognize our own vulnerability and limitation in the face of the grandeur of the world created by God. Who shut in the sea with doors when it burst out from the womb, when I made clouds its garment and thick darkness its swaddling band, and prescribed limits for it and set bars and doors, and said, Thus far shall you come, and no farther, and here shall your proud waves be stayed. Job chapter 38 verses 8 to 11. In these verses, God reinforces his message of authority and control over even the most untamed aspects of creation. The mention of setting limits to the sea and restraining its proud waves not only underscores God's omnipotence but also his care and providence for his creation. Number 7. An eschatological feast. This celebration is not merely a festivity. It is a powerful symbol of redemption, victory, and the ultimate communion between the Creator and his faithful. Among the delights promised for this feast is the flesh of the Leviathan, that formidable creature whose very existence is a testament to divine power and majesty. In that day the Lord with his hard and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan the fleeing serpent, Leviathan the twisting serpent, and he will slay the dragon that is in the sea. Isaiah chapter 27 verse 1. This prophecy not only anticipates the definitive defeat of the forces of chaos and evil, symbolized by the Leviathan, but also marks the beginning of an era of peace and fulfillment. The reference to the Leviathan is not casual, it is deeply symbolic. It represents the final triumph over everything that opposes God, a triumph that will be shared with the righteous in a feast of celebration. This banquet, framed within Jewish and Christian eschatology, goes beyond physical satisfaction. It is a metaphor for spiritual nourishment, for the soul's satiety found in God. The flesh of the Leviathan, then, is more than a delicacy. It is a sign of divine justice, of the restoration of all things under God's sovereignty. The wise and the saints will gather, according to tradition, around this feast, enjoying not only divine victory over evil, but also perfect communion with the Lord. This culminating event in sacred history is an invitation to reflect on the promise of salvation and the hope of a renewed world, where good ultimately prevails over evil. Number 6. Part of a mythic duo. In the vast and diverse tapestry of divine creation, two creatures stand out not only for their impressive magnitude but also for what they symbolize within God's plan: the Leviathan and the Behemoth. These mythical entities, mentioned in scriptures, serve as powerful reminders of God's sovereignty and majesty over all creation. In the book of Job chapter 40 verses 15 to 24, the Behemoth is introduced, described as a terrestrial beast of colossal proportions and unmatched strength. It is said that his power lies in his loins and that the forces of rivers cannot disturb him, a being that only his Creator can face. Through the Behemoth, the divine dominion over the earth is shown, a realm of immensity and wonder that defies human understanding. Immediately thereafter, in Job 41, the Leviathan takes the stage. This marine creature is presented with details that evoke awe and fear, an entity so formidable that no human would dare to confront it. With impenetrable armor and breath that kindles coals, the Leviathan symbolizes the uncontrollable power of the sea, a domain that, like the Behemoth, is subject only to God's will. The juxtaposition of these two creatures in scriptures is not casual. It is a deliberate manifestation of God's omnipotence, a reminder that he reigns supreme both on land and sea. The mythic duo of the Leviathan and the Behemoth not only represents the extremes of divine creation but also symbolizes the totality of God's power, encompassing all aspects of existence. Number 5. A symbol of pride and resistance. Who can strip this giant of his garments? Who can penetrate the double armor that covers him? With these words, the Leviathan is presented to us not only as a creature of unparalleled strength and unfathomable majesty, but also as a mirror of human pride that often stands between the Creator and his creation. Just as the Leviathan resists being dominated, so too does human pride rise up, resisting humility and dependence on God. The struggle against the Leviathan, therefore, symbolizes our own battle against pride. It is a call to reflection and repentance, reminding us that God opposes the proud but shows favor to the humble, James chapter 4 verse 6. In humility, we find our true strength, the strength that allows us to submit to the divine will and recognize that, above our resistance and pride, there is a much greater power willing to guide us, protect us, and love us. Number 4. Inspiration for sea monsters. Behold the beast of the sea, the Leviathan, created to play in the depths, could say an imaginary passage, reflecting how since ancient times, men have looked to the vast ocean and its unfathomable depths, filled with awe and fear, imagining what creatures might dwell there. The Leviathan, with its impressive description in Job 41, has acted as a divine muse, inspiring sailors, poets, artists, and writers to dream of even more fantastic and fearsome beings. The Bible speaks of a creature whose strength is unmatched and whose presence defies any human attempt at domination. No spear can make it flee. No harpoon can pierce it. Iron it treats like straw and bronze like rotten wood could be an expansion of the verses highlighting its invulnerability and power. This biblical portrait has fueled the creation of myths and sea legends in various cultures, from the Kraken of Norse legends to Melville's Moby Dick. Each of these beings shares a common ancestor in the collective imagination: the formidable Leviathan. Number 3. Apocalyptic symbolism. In the Gospel of Isaiah chapter 27 verse 1 stands as a pillar in this context, providing a prophetic vision that transcends time and space. In that day, the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great and powerful sword. Leviathan the gliding serpent, Leviathan the coiling serpent, he will slay the monster of the sea. This powerful image invites deep meditation on the meaning of the Leviathan in the divine plan, especially regarding the end times. Here, the Leviathan is not merely a sea creature but an incarnation of the forces of chaos and opposition prevailing in the world, destined to be defeated by the hand of God. The use of the term, "in that day," points towards the eschatological future, a moment of judgment and redemption where God's sovereign power will be fully manifested. The description of God's sword as fierce, great and powerful symbolizes the certainty and decisiveness of this divine victory over the forces of evil, represented by the Leviathan. This passage not only speaks of the defeat of a formidable enemy but also projects a vision of hope for creation, where evil will finally be eradicated. The specific mention of the Leviathan as the gliding serpent and the coiling serpent reinforces its role as a symbol of intricate and persistent evil in the world, reminding us of the ancient serpent mentioned in the book of Revelation, which will also be defeated at the end of times. Number 2. A creature of fire. One of these passages speaks of a fascinating and formidable creature, the Leviathan. In the book of Job chapter 41 verses 19 to 21, it offers a striking vision of this being, not only as a marine creature but as an entity capable of breathing fire, a detail that challenges our conventional understanding and enriches our perception of God's power and majesty. From its mouth come flaming torches, sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot over burning reeds. Its breath sets coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. This passage invites us to reflect on the diversity and power of divine creation. The Leviathan, with its ability to exhale fire, symbolizes more than a mythical creature. It represents the unpredictability and greatness of that created by God. It reminds us that there are aspects of the world and the universe that are beyond our understanding and control, challenging our expectations and expanding our vision of God's power. The image of the Leviathan spewing fire can also be seen as a metaphor for the trials and challenges we face in life. Just as fire refines and transforms, obstacles and difficulties can serve to strengthen our faith and character, as long as we trust in God's sovereignty and grace to overcome them. Number 1. Manifestation of divine power. The Leviathan, more than a creature of the deep seas, is a symbol of divine dominion that spans from the confines of the universe to the smallest details of life. It reminds us that, in the face of God's magnificence, our abilities are limited, and our understanding, finite. God asks Job, and through him each of us, "Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook or tie down its tongue with a rope?" Job chapter 41 verse 1. The implicit answer humbles us and elevates us at the same time, reminding us of our total dependence on the one who can do all things. The description of the Leviathan is an invitation to recognize that, in the vastness of creation, there are mysteries that transcend our understanding but not our admiration. Every detail of this creature, from its impenetrable scales to the steam that rises from its nostrils, is a proclamation that nothing is impossible for God. If he can create and control such a formidable creature as the Leviathan, What can he not do for us, his beloved children? In contemplation of the Leviathan, let us see beyond the creature. Let us recognize in it the manifestation of divine power, a reminder that we live under the gaze of a powerful and loving God, whose greatness is our greatest security and whose power is our eternal hope.